East India Company and the Dutch East India Company and so on, they came in small numbers. And this great, great world of Islam from Morocco to Mauritania and Mindanao, Sulu Archipelago and Indonesia, this great, great Islamic world collapsed like a house of cards, right there, as if it was moth-eaten. It couldn't stand. And since then this landslide has been coming, and very unfortunate, it is extremely unfortunate that we are not given any guidance on behalf of Islam as to what should we do. The only guidance that our ulama have given during the last 150 years is negative. Don't do this, this is haram. Don't do this, this is haram. Don't do this, this is makruh. Don't do this, this is mamnu. Only don'ts. So when the cry of these don'ts, they come into the ears of our young men and young ladies, they say, what? Is life negative? And we never stop to think. We have not stopped to think during these 150 years. So much so that today we are 700 millions in the world, but in the international affairs we are not worth 700 million cents. We are worth nothing. So it is not that only the Muslims of Pakistan will have to think about it, or the Muslims of Turkey or of Saudi Arabia. Every Muslim community will have to take stock of it, as to where are we going and how are we going. And here I will say one thing more, that either our attitude is negative or our attitude is escapist. We escape into certain fantasies of our own. We have got certain things which are the hallmarks of piety for us. If we acquire those hallmarks of piety, external hallmarks of piety, we feel that we have done a very great job. Although we have done nothing, actually. We might have done 0.000001%. What will it count? Therefore, being the situation as it is, and because the time at our disposal is not much, I can speak to you for another half an hour or 1 hour, not beyond that. I would like to lay down before you certain fundamental truths, and would leave it to you to work on them and to try to find your way. The first fundamental truth which you have got to keep in your mind is that Islam is a complete philosophy of life, that Islam starts not with namaz, although namaz is a very fundamental foundation of Islam, but Islam starts with some values. Now, just as there are 5 foundations of Islam about which you know, the kalima shahada and prayer and fasting and zakat and hajj. Similarly, there are 5 principles or foundations of the Islamic social order. And these 5 principles are of the Islamic social order and also of the individual's life as a unit in the community. These are truth, justice, beauty, wisdom, holiness. Truth, justice, beauty, wisdom, holiness. These are the 5 principles on which the Islamic life is built up. And these values come before the institutions come, as I have told you. They have to come before. When the Holy Prophet ﷺ came, what was the message that he gave? And in what order did he give that message? Read the history of Islam. Read the history of his mission. And you will be amazed to find that his outlook was different from yours and from ours in general. I would like you to consider the fact that the first wahi which the Holy Prophet ﷺ gave as message for mankind, which he got from God and gave his first message. What are the commandments given in that message? Islam starts with that first wahi. The first wahi is اقرأ بسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق اقرأ وربك الأكرم الذي علم بالقلم علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم. Read. Advance the cause of knowledge in the name of thy Lord who has created thee. With the spiritual orientation of life, pursue knowledge. اقرأ بسم ربك الذي خلق خلق الإنسان من علق. And always keep this in mind, that every one of you is a very humble creature of God, who has come from very humble beginnings. Always cultivate humility in your life. خلق الإنسان من علق, who created man, the human beings, from a simple clod. اقرأ وربك الأكرم. Pursue knowledge, and thy Lord is most honorable. الذي علم بالقلم. He who promoted the cause of knowledge through the use of the pen. علم الإنسان ما لم يعلم, and caused knowledge to be transmitted with the help of the pen from one generation to another, so that what was not known to one generation became known to it. This is the first message. What has been mentioned here? The name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not been mentioned. His name has not been mentioned. His attribute of being Rabb has been mentioned. Then neither Salat has been mentioned, nor Roza, fasting has been mentioned, nor Zakat has been mentioned, nor Hajj has been mentioned. What has been mentioned? Pursuit of knowledge and acquisition of honor in this world through the pursuit of knowledge. Because according to the commentators of the Quran, when there is any attribute of God mentioned before a particular act, that is, it casts its reflection on that act which is mentioned after it. So where we are being told, وَرَبُّكَ الْأَكْرَمُ الَّذِي عَلَّمَ بِالْقَلَمِ. Now this pursuit of organized pursuit of knowledge, which takes place through the pen. Here the attribute of God as Al-Akram has been mentioned, the most honorable, giving to us the meaning and the implication that it is God's law that those who will cultivate knowledge and promote knowledge will get honor in this world. That was the first message. In academic terms, these 5 short verses of the first message of Islam relate to the quest for knowledge, the psychology of the quest for knowledge, and the technique of the quest for knowledge. This is from where Islam starts. This is from where the Quranic revelation starts. Then try to consider the messages which came to the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ in the first year of his call. The verses of the Quran which were revealed to him and which he communicated to the human beings. What are those verses? I read out to you one set of such verses which came in the first year of the call. فَلَقْتَهَمَ الْعَقَبَةِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْعَقَبَةِ فَكُّ رَقَبَةٍ أَوْ إِطْعَامٌ فِي يَوْمٍ ذِي مَسْغَبَةٍ يَتِيمًا ذَا مَقْرَبَةٍ أَوْ مِسْكِينًا ذَا مَتْرَبَةٍ ثُمَّ كَانَ مِنَ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالصَّبْرِ وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْمَرْحَمَةِ أُولَٰئِكَ أَصْحَابُ الْمَيْمَنَةِ. This is the message that came in the first year of the call. What is the message? In this message, don't misunderstand me at all. Namaz and Roza, prayer and fasting, Zakat and Hajj are the foundations of Islam. They are obligatory. Don't misunderstand me, you see. But try to understand the value system of Islam as to how did Islam establish its mission. So here in the first year of the call, this message comes. Salat and Saum, Zakat and Hajj, nothing mentioned. No mention is there of these things. What is being mentioned? The greatest curses, the greatest curse from which mankind had suffered up to that time, slavery, the institution of slavery. And we are told in this message, do you know what is the highest form of virtue? This is the question we are asked. وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا الْعَقَبَةِ. Do you know what is the highest form of virtue? Then we are answered, فَكُّ رَقَبَةٍ. Emancipation of slaves and eradication of slavery from the world. Then, أَوْ إِطْعَامٌ فِي يَوْمٍ ذِي مَسْغَبَةٍ يَتِيمًا ذَا مَقْرَبَةٍ أَوْ مِسْكِينًا ذَا مَتْرَبَةٍ. Or feeding not our wealthy friends. Of course, that is also a virtue, it's not an act of sin. But feeding in times of stress, during the times of famine when there is scarcity of foodstuff, and when all families are in danger of being hit by that famine. Any amount of food that a person has, whatever he can spare, he should immediately feed with that those who don't possess the food. And here this word food has been given. This has been mentioned because food is the first basic need of the human being. That is the first basic need. Clothing comes next. Shelter or home comes after that. But without food a man will die. So this first basic need has been mentioned, that to live a life of selflessness for others, to provide their basic needs, not to live a life of egoism, self-pride, luxury, aristocracy, and all that. It is said, this is not virtue. Virtue is this, that if you have anything spare with you, whereby you can help any fellow being in any manner, if you help that fellow being with that is virtue. Then we are told about as-sabr. We are told that as those human beings who cultivate serenity, magnanimity, perseverance in hard labor for the achievement of great goals, this is virtue. Then we are told, وَتَوَاصَوْا بِالْمَرْحَمَةِ. Those who preach and those who practice compassion, mercy, love, kindness, generosity towards all creatures of God, it is they who perform the highest virtue. This is the message of the first year of the call. In this fashion, if you trace the scheme of personality culture and personality building and how the community was built by the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, you will be able to find that nowadays we have put the cart before the horse. We have put the cart before the horse. Charity, generosity, justice, well-doing, fellow-feeling, humility, courteous dealings with others. They do not form a part of our religious life. We may be temperamentally good, we may be temperamentally bad. But to come to the masjid 5 times a day, if anybody doesn't come, he is a fasiq. That is the emphasis in our society. To come to the masjid and to participate in congregation is a great blessing and a great honor for a human being to come. That is his obligation, he should come. Absolutely, he ought to come. Masjids are built for this purpose. But he should also have the basic values. And the thought about these basic values is absent. And when it is absent, you cannot understand what Islam stands for. Islam has become only a cult now. It is a cult. And a cult is that which is a combination of a few dogmas, a few rituals, and a few ethical or moral principles. That is called a cult. And this is what Islam has become. May I say here from this platform, unless we go back to the original Islam, to complete Islam, which is based on the ideals of truth, justice, beauty, wisdom and holiness, there is no chance for our survival. There is no chance. We may continue to pray. Let every one of us go to the masjid and pray. We are going to die. Why? Our past is there before us. At the time when the Western imperialistic forces attacked the world of Islam, the Muslim men and women of those days were 100 times superior to us in their spiritual life and in their moral life. Mind you. They had all that paraphernalia about which we now invite people in terms of fighting. But they were unable to face the challenge. And they crumbled. They couldn't stand. So we have got to take the whole of Islam. We have got to build up a campaign of teaching the Islamic values. We have got to go from door to door, from man to man, from woman to woman, and tell them and teach them that the Islamic personality and the Islamic social order is built upon 5 basic principles: truth, justice, beauty, wisdom, holiness. And here now I may make a reference to the modern Western civilization which we have been adopting wittingly or unwittingly. The modern Western civilization arose under certain circumstances. It is actually a product of compulsion. The history is this, that when the Muslims, in their heyday of glory, when they were the master scientists and the master philosophers and masters in every field, when they went to Europe and they taught the sciences and arts and philosophy to the people of Europe, a group arose in Europe, group of their pupils. Christianity had been as anti-knowledge as the religious Muslims of today have become. And consequently it hit hard against that movement for educational, for progress in the field of knowledge. There was a fight. The Christians had fought and lost. Because it was fighting against truth, it had to lose. And when it lost, then the forces of enlightenment against which it had fought, they turned back and made the counterattack. This Western civilization and culture is the product of that counterattack, which was undertaken emotionally. It was a matter of emotion. Charles Darwin came into the field and he was the first to set the ball rolling in this direction. He said, I want to give a philosophy of life wherein we don't need God. And he gave a theory which is called the theory of mechanical causation. And when he set this ball rolling, since his time, the entire Western thought has been built on pure materialism. Whether it is the field of philosophy or it's the field of politics or economics or sociology or psychology or anything else. Their entire outlook, the foundation of modern Western civilization and culture is through and through materialistic and atheistic. The Christian church is also there, but as a very weak stream. It is a sort of grafting. And here also, unfortunately, there is a resemblance. In our life, Islam is also a grafting. In the life of all Muslim communities, Islam is just a grafting. Just a small piece of Islam grafted somewhere. You go into a Muslim home, they might be listening to the pop music and dancing, but there is a copy of the Quran which is right there up. You see, and that is the Islam inside that house. The Quran which is never opened. The Quran which is the book of guidance, it is never opened. But as a superstition it is kept there that we are after all Muslims. Or some tugra, Allah or Muhammad is there to say that this is a Muslim home. So, Christianity is there. But it is just like that as Islam is there in our society. Now, I said in the beginning that the most unfortunate thing is that by leaving the real value system of Islam, we have become camp followers instead of being masters. We were the masters of mankind for 1,000 years, or a bit less. Now we are only camp followers. You ask a young man, my dear son, why have you grown your hair like this? He'll say, it's fashion. You ask a young lady, why have you put a certain color here and why have you clipped your eyebrows and why have you done this? She has no other answer. She says, it's fashion. I will say, this is the height of rabid, senseless, blind imitation because we are camp followers. We can't do otherwise. We have stopped thinking about what is good for us and what is bad for us. We have stopped thinking. And we have stopped thinking because nobody has come to us. There is no book as to how should we live in this 20th century. How can we be good Muslims in this 20th century? Nobody has come forward to say. So I don't accuse the young men and the young ladies. I accuse myself. As a father and as a preacher and as a scholar, I accuse myself, not my young ladies and young men. But it is happening like that. But as I said, we are camp followers. All right. But every one of us, however westernized he may be, he or she may be, will have to consider the problem of profit and loss. In what lies our benefit and in what lies our, what is detrimental for us. Now in this connection, I would like to say something to my sisters and to my daughters who are here, especially because Islam gives priority of status to the woman. Islam believes that the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. Islam believes that woman is not merely the equal of man, she is also superior to man. According to the Holy Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, woman is superior to man as father. Woman as mother is superior to man as father 3 times. She is thrice superior. As daughter, she is twice superior to the son. As sister, she is twice superior to the brother. So I would like to say something, especially because there is not much time, I can't go on speaking until morning. But I would like to say something especially to my sisters and to my daughters who are here. You know very well that every community, the unit of a community or the unit of the human society is the family. The family is the unit. And the family is built up, the axis of the family is the mother. The family revolves around the mother, revolves around woman. And the family becomes and grows in accordance with the merits or demerits of the mother, more than of the father. Because the father is always a very tricky person. He has connection with his son and daughter, you see, he is the father, you see, but he would always like to keep away counting his money at the counter and just thinking about how much more money can be made. It is the mother who is more loyal to the child and wants to stay with the child, you see. And therefore it is the mother who impresses the child with her personality more than the father. And consequently it has been said, the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. That is true. Unfortunately, some of the Muslims do not realize, have stopped to realize that what rights Islam has given to the women folk and how they should treat the women folk. But as facts are, the truth stays. Now, after saying this, I wish to bring forward a very important point. That important point is that the moral tone or the moral outlook of the modern Western civilization is, as they say in terms of moral philosophy, hedonistic. Or their moral ideal is to seek physical, sensuous pleasure to the maximum. This you will find in all the departments of their life. Whether you read their art, or you read their fiction, or you see their films, especially the blue films, you see, which abound actually, or you see any other aspect of their life, you will find that their moral outlook is to acquire the minimum amount of physical sensuous pleasure. Now here the poor woman has been beaten right away. And I venerate the women folk because I owe whatever I am mostly to my mother. But I also feel pity for the women. The women folk are dependent human beings. A wife is dependent on the husband. The husbands are independent human beings. That is the law of social biology or biological sociology. Now, this weakness of the woman is there with all her strength and superiority. And consequently, when you read the history of mankind, you will find that before the advent of Islam, in every society, in the Hindu society, in the Buddhist, Christian, Jewish, Zoroastrian, Sumerian, Babylonian, Greek, Roman, Chinese, Japanese, in every society and in every civilization, woman was treated as a chattel and was exploited as a chattel. In Christianity, they went even so far as to discuss whether women were human beings and whether they had souls. And when such a great philosopher as Aristotle was asked about woman, what is your estimation of the woman? He said that when nature fails to produce man, woman comes into existence. Woman is the freak of nature. Woman has no status of her own. She is not the beloved of nature. She is only a freak of nature. This is what Aristotle said. So, woman had been exploited by all these civilizations. When the Holy Prophet Muhammad ﷺ came, he is the first man in known history who championed the cause of womanhood. And he gave to her the highest rights. Then after that, when the Muslims fell, and the Western civilization arose with the moral outlook that the acquisition of physical sensuous pleasure is the noblest ideal for every human being, then again misfortune fell on womanhood. And here the devil employed very strange type of means. The feminist movement started in Europe. Equality of rights between man and woman, which Christianity had not given. The feminist movement. And today, ignorant Muslims also say that in the modern society, a woman enjoys equal status with man, although this modern West has not yet given legal status in every country. In some countries, they have given that status, but there are other countries in the West, even up to this time, who have not given the right to vote or right to divorce or anything of that sort. But this was a snare or a sort of trap laid for womanhood. What they planned actually was that in this age of universal education and enlightenment, they cannot exploit woman in the same manner as she was exploited in the pre-Islamic days. So they took to another path, and that was, they said and they planned, the men in the West planned, and the men in the West planned everything for women. Remember this, and I'll come to this. The men in the West planned that they should adopt another means of exploiting womanhood. They said, now we are going to exploit womanhood as a toy, not as chattel. We will not treat her as slave, as a sort of slave, or only as a housewife, and closed in the four walls of the house and doing all the hard jobs. We will bring her into the open and exploit her as a toy and obtain through her for ourselves the maximum amount of physical sensuous pleasure. And what they started doing, they laid down the ideal in order that man, forgive me my daughters and my sisters, I would like to be, so this is something delicate, but I would like to keep to proper etiquette. They planned the ideal that man can acquire the highest amount of physical sensuous pleasure if woman is shown naked of her clothes. This was one conspiracy. If you read the books of the Victorian age on the history of culture, you will find there photographs of that age, the women of that age. Those women folk used to dress as our best ladies actually dress. Long kurtas or long frocks going right up to the ankles. A full apron covering their head and their breasts. Full sleeves. That was the Victorian dress. Now when this conspiracy was hatched, after that started the age of fashions. And here I may say in passing that when I visited France and Paris for the first time, I was a young man at that time, it was long ago, so I searched out the houses of fashion in Paris. I went there personally. I wanted to investigate that anybody whom you meet and who is doing something curious, wearing some curious dress or doing something curious, when you ask him, he says, this is fashion. So I wanted to go to that place where these fashions are created. And to my amazement, in all the houses of fashion in Paris, I found that they were run by men and not by women. The fashions for the women folk are planned and designed by the men and not by the women. So it is a conspiracy. And the conspiracy took this shape. It must have started with one man and with one woman. Everything starts like that. Humanity started with one man and one woman. So, in Europe there was the system of courtship. Now in Victorian age, system of courtship was this, that the suitor will never sit with that girl for whom he came. He will only sit with the family members of that girl. That was the etiquette of Victorian age all over Europe and America. Then the rule was relaxed. He can sit in the home with that girl whom he wants to marry. Then the rule was further relaxed, that he can take the girl out with him on an outing while her parents are away and both of them are just by themselves. Then this rule was further relaxed, that he cannot only take out that girl with him in the outings in the evenings, but also midnight. That was one prong. The other was the suitor or the one who had to court the hand of a certain girl in marriage. He came one evening to his fiancée and said, look here, I love you very much and I would like to marry you, certainly. I won't marry any other girl. You are so pretty and handsome and you are so good. But you see, in this long Victorian frock, you look like a grandma. This doesn't look nice. You must look a bit more dynamic. You must look a bit more dynamic and more progressive. This is our conservatism, isn't it? So the poor girl scratched her head. That was the most vital problem for her to please her future husband. She said, anything I can do for you? He said, yes, you are a good girl. Take a pair of scissors and cut down half of your frill. Expose your legs to the half. So, to please him, she did that. Then she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. And he asked her again to cut that frill up to the knees. Then she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. Then he asked her to cut half the sleeves. Then she asked again the same question and he answered the same way. Then she said, what should I do? He said, cut all your sleeves, bare your arm and bare your legs to the knees. Then she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. Cut your collar off and he cut the collar off. Now, this is historical process. This is historical process in terms of dress. This has happened in history. Year after year, the fashion is changed in this fashion. Then when she has put on her collar also, she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. She said, what should I do? He said, open your breast from here. She did that. Then she said, do I look pretty? He said, not yet. She said, what should I do? He said, wear a mini skirt. Cut it above the knees, halfway. Wear a mini skirt. Then she asked, do I look pretty? He said, yes, 90%. 10% job still remains. Make this truncated frock of yours very tight, so that whatever part of the body has been covered, you may look perfectly immodest. And that will be the grandeur of your personality as a woman. And you will be accepted. Poor girl, she did all that. Then she was divorced. After marriage, some other person came in her way. She was young, she wanted to marry again. So she spoke to the other friends. Do I look pretty? He said, yes, you do. But you seem to be very conservative. This mini skirt is very conservative dress. You should wear the bottomless, and you should wear the topless until you become absolutely naked. Then alone you will look handsome. This is the tragedy played on womanhood in the West. And as I said, because woman is dependent on man, on the husband, poor woman has been doing all this. And what is the consequence? In spite of doing all this, and in spite of all this exploitation, what man was doing, he did not cut his pants. He did not remove his coat. He continued to put on his hat. He continued with his tie and his bow, with his jacket and all those things. Alert. He did not do it. Only the woman was made naked. And he went beyond that in utter blasphemy. He said, look here, woman. Look here, ye women, if you want to remain alive and to have some prestige in our eyes as men, then we are going to exploit you for selling our commodities at the counter. So any businessman who wanted to increase his sales brought a girl to stand there at the counter. If that was not enough, when they designed the advertisements, the picture of the woman was used, not of man. The picture of woman was used, put on the roadsides, put in the newspapers, put in the magazines, half naked, or in some such posture where man can feel pleased in his basest motives. This, my dear sisters and daughters, is this modern Western civilization and the status of woman in the modern Western society. The big tragedy is this, that when any deviation takes place between a man and a woman, it is only the personality of the woman that is hurt and man goes scot-free. That is the worst part of it. So, in the modern Western society, and according to the modern Western culture, woman has been reduced to a toy for the pleasure of man. and she has been dehumanized. She is not a human. She is only a toy. And the last thing then, not to imitate it.